here. The immediate fate of the airline industry could be decided soon as bailout talks in Washington are settled. Phil LeBeau joins us now with more. Aerospace, automobiles, bring it to us, Phil. What's on your mind this morning?
We're talking about airlines. We'll talk a little bit about Boeing because there has been some news with Boeing overnight. Let's start first off with the airlines. Now, pre-market, these stocks are under pressure. The question is this $50 billion bailout that's being debated on Capitol Hill. The Senate favors that these happen in the form of loans, not in the form of cash grants that would immediately go to the airlines. That is not what the airline industry wants. The concern is that if they have to go through loans, A, the market will not be as robust if they need more money down the road, and B, if they get cash grants, that soothes the investor market, it soothes the credit market. It really is a vote of confidence for the airlines. By the way, they say there's going to be mass layoffs if they do not get at least half of that, the $25 billion in cash grants. Let's take a look at what we're seeing with the airline stocks. As I mentioned, pre-market, they're under pressure, and they are saying that they need these grants in order to avoid mass layoffs. Some specific airline news. You've got Southwest today cutting a quarter of its schedule. 25% of its flights are gone. It's going to be ending any international flights. Remember, they have a number of flights down to the Caribbean. Also, United Airlines. On Friday night, first they said, that's it. We're essentially throwing in the towel on international flights. Then they came back within 24 hours and they said, okay, we're going to keep some because there are people overseas who need to get back to the United States. So we want to have some service available there. Don't be surprised if we see a similar move by other carriers as well. You've got JetBlue out with some news, reportedly going to be cutting back its schedule to less than half of its flights. And finally, let's talk about Boeing because the news overnight. Let's start first off. You've got them suspending their dividend stock buybacks. CEO David Calhoun, Chairman Larry Kellner, both saying they're going to forego their salaries. That came out on Friday. Then last night, there was a report in the Seattle Times that a worker at the Everett plant, which is still in operation, contracted the coronavirus and died. Now, we've reached out to the company. All they would say is that they're respecting the individual's privacy while trying to confirm all the details. But for now, that plant remains in operation. That's where they build the 777 and the Dreamliner. And then this morning, Goldman Sachs out with a note on Boeing, moving it from hold to buy. But keep in mind, guys, when you look at that note, there are a lot of caveats in there in terms of what you have to believe will happen in order to believe that this is the time to buy shares of Boeing. You got to get the airline bailout. You've got to get the airline business coming back, not just here in the United States, but around the world. So we're going to be watching Boeing today. You see it's slightly higher pre-market, but this is the story of the day. What happens with this bailout?
I don't see how any of those things are just not sort of essential. So, I mean, it just seems like I know it's not done yet, but I just, we're going to need, unless we're going to buy all our planes from Airbus, I just think that Boeing a year from now will be an ongoing concern, and I don't know if I can't imagine that all the shareholders would be sacrificed.
I think the question, Joe, becomes when you look at Boeing, not that it's going to be bailed out, because I think most people believe, look, Washington will make sure that Boeing is bailed out in some fashion. Couple of things. One, does it happen fast enough so that this company does not have to pursue bankruptcy over the next couple of months? Does it happen in the fashion that they want it to happen? And then two, by the way, Boeing says bankruptcy is not on the table right now. Two, what happens with the airlines? I think that's the bigger question right now, because you will see some shakeout, maybe not here in North America. You will definitely see some shakeout overseas. Southeast Asia, don't be surprised if you see a number of carriers go away. So that question is out there in terms of demand. How robust will it be, let's say, 9 months from now, 2 years from now?